Sit, talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy... State of fear.
Welcome back to Flyover State of Fear.
I'm sorry.
We got a guest. Oh my God, he's fucking it up already.
The specialist of guests,
specialist
as in
of
special needs.
Honestly, royalty is joining us. JUSEF is joining Brian and I. Hi, Brian. Hi, JUSEF. How's everyone doing?
What's up, boys? I'm not gonna lie. I was looking forward to this. I was looking forward to
Yeah,
JUSEF on the
right.
show
I was
today.
like, it was one of those ones too. Leading into it, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we could push another week. I'm pretty. And then I'm like, no, JUSEF's made time. He's
JUSEF's
joining
ready,
today.
man. I
Brian
mean,
and I do this so
the
frequently.
man has been being a father. He's just like living that dad life, working his email job. He needs a release.
Getting a message saying I'm jonesing to talk a little movies is from this guy is well. What have you doing? What have you been up to?
Like 30 minutes before, I was looking for all the equipment, and just imagine like a sadder, nerdier version of that scene in John Wick when he's just with a sledgehammer digging through in the basement. That was me, but digging through this cubbies.
I was thinking, like in my mind, it was more like a Indiana Jones. You like blew the dust off the top of the box, and like it creaked open. You know,
he put this under cement.
But I actually like the John Wick better. Yeah,
he blasted a Marilyn Manson song. I forget what plays, some metal. Well, like like the old days, JUSEF has a beer to crack, so I grabbed something someone gave me also because.
That Shandy?
Sorry, no. I drank an iced cappuccino and I'm just having some water today.
Warsteiner. I don't know. A friend brought over a bunch of German beer in January, and it's just been sitting in my fridge. So I went into the bullpen.
It's been like intimidating you from your fridge.
Yeah, I've been like, I don't want that, but this is
more power to you, man.
That's
alcohol
intense.
in this house does not last, man. If it's in, I
know that's really tasty. That's really tasty. Wow, I should have been drinking that.
Actually, I was in a German brewery this Saturday, and I was just having a blast. And then a doppelganger of Brian walked in. I said,
"Oh yeah."
Photo. So yeah, man, I love a good strong German beer.
This is just a Pilsner. It's really nice. It's been generally in there since January, or earlier. I have been obsessed though, calling any beers, and like we have a second fridge. I don't know if you guys seen on the internet the bullpen, throwing a bullpen game. Such a perfect term.
One of the best tweets.
If there's Putzler prizes for tweets or like Mark Twain awards, it should go to that tweet because it's now become, just go to the bullpen, see what we got. You know, you have a party, someone leaves like 4 Miller Lights over.
You got little pieces, a little piecemeal.
Yeah, it's like I got to throw a bullpen
it's a tasting menu.
Our starters are on the mend.
You're going to the tasting menu of the back of the fridge.
Ooh.
If I'm nominating a tweet, especially if we jump from sports to movies, I just saw somebody transferring it over to Blue Sky so the Blue Sky community can see it. It's our buddy Colin Murr's tweet about how Chris Pratt wants to be Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds wants to be Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman wants to be Ethel Merman. Like that's my man dropped an all-timer, and Colin's such kind of an unassuming guy. He's like funny, but not in like a really obvious way.
No, Colin's so bitingly witty. Like I joined his
and that's just like an all-timer. So I love when that tweet makes the rounds. It's like I know that guy.
Yeah, that's one of those ones of like, oh, that's the viral one. You did go viral.
I feel like a friend got famous, man.
And not a good tweet because I stole it. It happens to me once a year. I duped that Frank Fleming guy with the Johnny Sins, like, and was like, can you give a shout out to? And once a year, the Barstool account will share that screenshot. I'm like, hey, that's me in the quote tweet. That's all it is. It's like just seeing, and I'm like, I think it's my old profile pic
Man, we
with
should have
like
gotten
the
that
green.
Barstool money. Like just move
Oh,
to New
no
York
one asked
and
that because it was from Frank's, not the quote.
uh
Yeah, yeah. But
They
you
all,
but you get a little like side piece
I
from
just
it,
get a
you
little
know.
like memory lane of like, oh fuck, that's me.
It's good
Um,
times.
but no, that Colin Murr tweet's amazing. Uh, anyway, Yusuf, what have you been watching? Have you watched anything in the
I've been
last? I mean,
watching a lot, man. We haven't talked in almost 2 years, so we can talk about all the
And
movies that we
also, the people
watched.
who watch this should know we don't talk outside the show.
no.
No,
We're like the
it's never.
Beatles, you know, we're in feuds anytime,
Okay.
and then when you see us on camera,
But
it's because
also,
lawyers got together
Yeah.
and like brought
Okay.
it and like
Let me
also,
read.
contracts
but
were
no, wait,
signed.
wait. But if you're doing this, like this is our main source of income, I won't do this for free.
No, of
Oh
course
yeah.
not.
Like you have to
Obviously.
pay me to interact, and also I'm not
Look.
gonna lose the juice. You know,
I mean,
why
look at.
waste interaction with another human being if we're not recording it?
Well, look at Brian's setup. You think he would be the leader, and he actually is the main source of the income. So we do only have to talk about this. Like we look
Yeah.
like guests with our sets
We're
aren't
stark.
sets.
More stark. I'm channeling an older energy though. I'm bringing
Chris
like
Stuckman energy.
2013
Ooh, never
YouTube
heard that name.
energy here, you
Yeah.
know.
Chris
You guys have like an
Stuckman.
ASMR set. It's like
Hmm.
it's peaceful and
Well, I'm
pleasing.
trying. I'm
So
trying.
you're slowly but surely
The
bringing it up.
window doesn't
I had a nice setup,
actually
but
this
somebody took it from me.
wall over here would be better for a background.
Yeah.
But that was really we really
Planning.
required that required me to set up my desk every time we'd have to do this
Yeah, you
thing
don't want
to
to have to
do.
rearrange the whole room. That's a pain.
Anyway, no, Yusuf, what I meant is there anything of recent that you've seen that you
Yeah.
would like to highlight or
Mostly I
shout
mean, we
out?
prefer it to be horror, but you know, this
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
horror show.
I rewatched the Lake House. I think I told you guys about that.
Oh,
Fucking great movie. Really holds up.
I
Uh,
mean like A Beautiful Tale.
I
The Lake House
yeah,
with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. I
yeah.
love that
I
movie.
love. We're talking about John Wick. That's why he was in my
Yeah.
mind because I was
I know
watching
what you mean. The Night House.
the Night House. The Night House.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very good movie. He's the same guy from The Ritual, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the very
Um,
underrated Hellraiser remake that
and
went
the
straight to
Hellraiser, I
Hulu.
really like the Hellraiser.
And
Very good ambient movie, great visuals. I
Yeah.
also I
Rebecca Hall's
watched The
so good.
Companion. I don't know if you've seen that
Well,
one.
like
I
it was
haven't watched
fun.
Companion yet.
It's
I know
fun.
it's
It
on
was
Max.
fine.
Me and the wife are working our way through Gemstones and White Lotus, so it's like it's on my list.
I think
Yeah,
Companion was really fun. It's one of those ones where like what's her name? Sophie Turner no. Uh
yeah, the
Nat
Jello Jackets lady.
yeah, Nat God, Sophie Turner, I think. Sophia Turner. Yellow Jacket. She's like such a good lead, like she holds her own on screen so well and so watchable. And like Jack Quaid is
Yeah, Jack
there
Quaid is
pretty
good.
much.
Yeah.
So the movie works on their backs
Yeah,
heavily.
and
As a movie,
Guillermo's there.
yeah,
Guillermo is
Guillermo's
fun.
there. He's very fun in
I'll
that
watch
movie.
anything with that's one of those guys
He,
like
he's one of the, he
when we
was
did the
fun.
Y2K episode we were talking about Julian Dennison. I think Guillermo's one too. I was like, hey my fat little boys, I want to see my little boy my chubby little
Well, he
boys
has
in
the
movies.
same
Anytime they're out there, I'm gonna support them.
in Companion. They almost like parlay the same like archetype and character he's playing, which is a complement of like his character in like Werewolves Within.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Where like it's like, oh yeah, like this is your rolling out of bed showing up. You're like, no, I'm doing the thing.
Yeah, like Samuel Jackson,
Yeah.
doing Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, Companion was fine. I had a good time with it, but it had its moments, but it was a
I
better take.
also, yeah, no,
It
it's
was a
very
better
one note. That's
Yeah,
what
it
I
was a
mean.
better take on the AI robot thing than some others have, because that's just going to be the next like
Right,
we've
we're gonna
already
be
had
seeing
a
a
ton.
lot of that,
Yeah,
so it's
we
gonna be like
I
pick your
I actually
poison.
I went in blind, so I didn't know it was about a robot.
like I
Like
think
I like to go into movies blind. I don't watch movie
mhm.
trailers, and I don't
Like it's so
don't.
funny the
So it took me a little bit. And Lola and
gotcha.
I were watching it, and we're like, something is off, and something happened. And I was like, she's not real.
Mm.
And something happened.
Well,
It's like she's not.
Yeah, something's not right. That's how I feel about what's gonna happen a lot with when Sinners hits like the streamers and cable.
Mm.
There's gonna be so many people that are gonna be like, I'm vibing with this movie for the first like hour, like this like Western kind of,
Mm.
and then it's just gonna like well over an hour have this vampire turn into it. People are going, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that when we talked about it last time, I mentioned I was like, this is a great movie, but it's also got not going to be the movie a lot of people go expect when they go into it.
Oh,
Like,
I even
And
more
I
so
and I
like when they hit
appreciated her
play on
for it though.
HBO.
yeah,
I really appreciated her for it though. I
Hmm.
also, before we talk about Sinners, I also watched the Heart Eyes Killer or the
Mm.
Crazy Eye,
oh
something like that.
yeah, that's again another one that's on my list
How
when I
was
see
that?
it
That's on
free.
my
Is it free
list.
somewhere? Or did you rent it?
I rented with points, so it was technically
Okay,
free.
free to
But
you.
it's yeah, free to me. It's 100% those type of movies that, like, if you're doing a Halloween marathon where like you want to watch a horror movie every day, it's an easy one to just put it in the background
I
and
think that it's
go
probably when I
cook.
watched it.
Just a pretty
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
by the
cook.
numbers slasher. That's kind of what it looked
Yeah,
like.
Yeah.
yeah. It has some funny moments. The ending, I felt
Isn't
the
it
ending
from
was a
the
waste.
like
Oh,
the Scream and
That's
Thanksgiving
Radio
like
Silence, right?
studio, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
from those
Yeah, the
guys.
guys who did the first reboot. I don't know. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's just
fun.
Scream, but with a Halloween.
Right, and that's kind of what Thanksgiving was too. It's like
Yeah,
they all have a similar vibe, but we're just swapping out the type of killer now, like
yeah.
It's
the
so weird.
gimmick.
You're mentioning
Eh,
Thanksgiving, and it's reminded me of when I went to that horror con a couple months ago, and Eli Roth had a booth there, and I was just like, there was a time where I would have been like, oh, we got to go to Eli Roth's booth, and I just looked over at it, but like, I have not he like, didn't really have a line either. I was like, who gives a fuck, right? Who gives a fuck anymore?
Like,
he
pass.
did something recently, right?
He did Borderlands,
Borderlands.
Ooh, yeah, that's
and
right.
then he
But I
came out
think
and
even he like it did is kind of like one of
oh,
these, and was like, that's a studio movie. They took it over,
but
like, and you know,
he came out a couple weeks ago and was like, COVID ruined it. We couldn't really get together, blah blah. It
mm,
was just like own it because you know what? He made a good studio movie in House with the Clock in its walls.
yeah. I mean,
So
Yeah.
he's a competent director. I just think his horror shit was kind of schlocky. It was never really my cup of tea.
I liked Cabin. I was a big Cabin Fever and gave him the bump there and
Yeah,
all
Cabin Fever
that.
and the
But
first Hostel was
you
fun.
know, Inglorious Bastards and all that. But
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
love him popping up in Glorious Bastards. That's fun.
he overstayed
I
its
love all the
welcome.
like Jew character actors they got in that one. It
Hmm.
was awesome. Like,
Yeah, he overstayed his welcome, and I think that, and now he's just like, I'm the horror guy, but I talk about nonsense.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but actually, Thanksgiving was I
that's
enjoyed.
fun.
I
No,
think
Thanksgiving was a
they're
return. That
doing
was
a
fun.
sequel, right?
I
Supposedly,
think so. Yeah.
supposed to be.
But the last one I watched, the Parenting. It's also on HBO Max.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that
That
one is
sounds,
rough. That was a rough watch.
yeah,
That was what my wife was like, oh, the baby's finally asleep. You just want to watch this shit, and we were like, fuck it, and she passed out, and I barely
yes,
got through it.
that looked atrocious just from
Yeah, it's
its,
rough. It's a gay couple coming,
that's,
bringing the families together, and there's a demon that takes over um
Edie,
takes over the dads as a host, and then they're just trying to
Edie
take the demon out of the
Falco,
house.
Lisa
It's a good, it's a
Kudrow,
great cast though.
yeah,
Like it's the Brian Cox,
Brian
Lisa
Cox.
Kudrow,
Hank from Breaking Bad.
Hank from Breaking
You
Bad,
know,
and
and
Parker
sometimes an
Posey.
incredible cast can really boost a mediocre movie. Anyway, let's talk about Near Dark.
Um, real quick, Brian,
Oh no,
any other
no.
movies you got?
I
Nope.
I didn't really I like
Brian, wait. Before we hit play, you said like get on your podcast game and don't step on Joe's transition. And you just bulldoze your way through.
Well, it's like we never left.
I
It's like
couldn't
we never
help
left.
listen, I couldn't help myself. I saw that opening and I had to take it.
I mean, you're right, because I was
I
gonna
want
tee up and be like, old school. What's a great cast that put out a fucking mediocre ass that just ruined the movie? There's too many of them, to be honestly.
That's so
That's
many.
a lot of movies.
Um,
That's a great question though.
that's a great question. I'll save it for icebreakers for when you're with someone for more than like 2 hours and like
Oh,
fuck, I need topics.
the monkey sucked.
You
Oh
said
yeah,
that.
you
I
didn't
still
like the
gotta watch
monkey.
it.
I'm still gonna watch it when it's
Yeah.
free,
We're
but
such I liked
I've
Oz
heard
Perkins'
mixed
It
I've heard
movies.
mixed
it could
things.
it's 100% divisive. Like maybe it'll
Yeah.
tickle your funny bone. Brian has a horrible taste in comedy. Maybe he'll laugh his ass off in that movie, but for me,
That's
it
not
fucking
true.
sucked.
I am very funny.
No, it's documented. We have a lot of
Oh,
episodes.
Drowning
Those
Mona.
those movies are funny. That's a good movie.
Well,
Drowning
maybe
Moon
you'll
is a
love
really
the
good
monkey,
movie.
but
I'm
yeah,
glad you brought that up so that I can recommend it to our watchers now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Watch Drown. It's on Tubi. Any movie Brian recommends is on Tubi.
They're all on Tubi. Make no mistake.
Except Near Dark. It's nowhere. I do have an
Near Dark's,
answer for that.
it's funny because like I feel like when I watched Near Dark for the first time a couple of years ago, it was on Shutter, so like they had the license for it for like a minute at least, and
There
then oof,
was I was
gone.
gonna get it, so I'll just do it now. There was a minute it was on like Shutter and HBO had it real recently. A couple years ago, I actually think because I remember friends of the podcast, Janine show, they'd covered it at the time.
Okay.
And it was like that, it was a real small window. It's gone now. And that
Are they
all
still
has to,
doing that?
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh
Morgan
yeah,
hasn't
Gene and
seen
Morgan
it.
are working hard. They put out
Yeah,
mad podcasts
they
still.
they might have more than one now. And that's because Dia the Rentis, the production company, went defunct right after this
Oh,
movie.
okay.
So it had like a DVD release, and then in the height of the Twilight boom, it put out a
I remember
Blu-ray.
that they talk about that Blu-ray on Red Letter Media, I think, because it's got the
Yeah,
very Twilighty cover.
yeah,
You
and
can tell they're
it's
trying to like glom on.
yeah. But you know what? I was gonna say, Brian, if you got anything to cover, if I got anything to cover. No, the only thing I was gonna highlight is I saw The Drop, that new
Oh
kind of
yeah,
thriller out.
how was that?
Fun little thriller. I mean, very
Huh.
sleek, very like
Really?
it was a little fun. I'm not
I
like
almost
overly
rented it
yeah,
with
I think it's
points.
worth a rental. It's not it's fine. It has that same like frustration you have with any of those. It's going for a very like red eye vibe.
Okay.
Um, it works. It's a little stylized. Definitely a rental. I'll put it that way.
Have you
Not
seen
a
the new A24 one with the girl from the bear? Ayo.
no, no. I know you're talking.
What's
I'm
that
not.
one called? I remember seeing it with, and
It's
I
a
like seeing
word.
her on the cover, but I don't remember what it's
Oh,
called.
It's a word.
Irish his own A.O. Rudy.
Ayo
Yeah.
Idabiri? Is that it?
She's in Thunderbolts. Oh, I'm going tomorrow. Um, that's Opus.
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 No, I have not,
No, I
but
haven't seen it either. And that's another one I heard kind of divisive thing. I don't really know much about it, but I kind of already had heard mixed things about too. So
Did you
yeah,
watch Cuckoo? I know
I did watch
we're
Cuckoo.
pretty
I
good.
did not. Should
I
I?
like Cuckoo.
It's fun.
Okay, I heard it's fun.
All right, let's do Near
All
Dark.
right, so
Oh, I
yeah,
did watch one movie that I wanted to say
Oh,
just because it's between one of the few divisive ones between me and Joe. I watched Bodies, Bodies, Bodies again. I got the
I hated
Blu-ray and
that
I
fucking
watched it.
movie.
And this
I
guy
really
didn't
like
like
that
it,
movie.
but I liked it a lot. You liked
I
it,
like it a
Yusuf?
lot.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah, I
like you
love that
like it
movie.
too.
Not for me. I almost bought. I told you when we
That's
talked
okay,
about that one
but that's
time.
what makes this show great because
Yeah.
we actually have
I
difference of opinion. We don't
I
always like the same things.
that was one too. I was so confident I was gonna be good. I remember I almost bought the Blu-ray on like Black Friday,
Oh,
and then
before
I just
watching it?
yeah, and then I just had like too many, and I was like, oh, I'll put it back. And then when I finally went in, I went, yeah, I'm glad I didn't like throw like the $15 or whatever
I
it
fucking
was.
loved it because they killed off Pete Davidson very early in the movie. So I was like,
Yeah, he
this is
was
my
there.
Oh,
favorite.
you had me at hello.
He was there. Drew
Thank
Barrymore.
you.
I was laughing because there's a character they talk about that you never see and that shows up at the very
Yeah.
end. It's Connor O'Malley. He like just steps out and he's like, "Oh!"
See, I
So I
like
was like, "Oh
Connor
shit, it's Connor
O'Malley.
O'Malley."
Oh, the rocks, the rock, the rock satellites.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Now we can
No.
talk about Near
So
Dark
why did you
finally.
choose? We were talking Catherine Bigelow's Near Dark. Why did you choose Near Dark, Yusuf?
Oh,
What was
well,
your?
we slightly mentioned that everybody watched Sinners.
Yeah.
We're talking about Sinners a bunch of in our chat how much we liked it. A
We
great
were all
fun
scared and
vampire
horny.
movie. Yeah.
Hmm.
Michael B. Jordan had a wonderful time with both actresses. Good for him.
Yeah, what a
Uh,
role.
yeah.
Really,
Um,
the gambit of everything. And what did they leave on the cutting room floor? I'm sure more horniness.
Yeah, oh yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I was like, all right,
Wait,
let's just do a vampire movie.
I I saw someone being like, "Man, Josh Allen watching this fucking movie, just looking over at Michael B. Jordan, going, motherfucker, I could beat you."
I mean, yeah, it takes a confident person to date an actor, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Male or female. It's
Yeah.
just my job. I don't know, sure,
I don't know.
but still.
Yeah,
You
okay.
just spit in
I
the
don't know,
other
but an
actor's
awful lot of
mouth.
like it's sure it's just your job, but like also don't a lot of actors like get into relationships with each
Yeah,
other all the time? Like doesn't
yeah.
that happen a lot?
But anyway,
But yeah, vampires were in my head, and I was like, all right, let's just do a vampire movie. And I've never seen Near Dark. Um, we picked Near Dark. It wasn't anywhere. We almost switched it to Martin because I've never seen Martin
I think
either.
we should still do Martin. I
we
think we should
should
come
still
back and
do
do
Martin. We
Martin.
should still
Yeah.
do Martin. I
But yeah,
love that you
that's why
picked
we picked
this.
Near Dark.
I love that you picked this. Yeah, this is one of those rare movies where it's like, from a trying to get, trying to acquire standpoint, where it's like not
Oh
just out of production, it's like unfindably out of production. Where
Yeah.
from a big director in Catherine Bigelow to being like, you know,
And big actor like in
big
Paxton and
actors.
Lance.
Um,
I mean, she basically just hijacked the best cast members from Aliens. She was
apparently,
like,
well, there's apparently this is right when she kind of started hooking up with James Cameron,
Yeah,
yeah, makes
he's in the
sense.
and
movie.
he was like, "Oh, you should use like my current cast that I'm using," and there was like a pipeline production thing with that. So that is like
That does not
Mm.
surprise
very
me at all.
intentional.
Yeah, and they brought over my favorite Latina,
Oh,
in
Yeah,
Janet
Jeanette
Goldstein.
Goldstein.
your favorite Irish also?
Mi
Latina?
gente.
You said Cameron's in the movie. Where's this cameo at?
Supposedly he's the guy that he's in the car and he flips off. I think it's Paxton. Honks at him and flicks him off. That's supposedly
Oh,
Oh,
James
that's
Karen.
him.
all right,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Paxton was the one that said it in an interview. So
Hmm.
Mhm. I
he
mean,
was visiting the set, making sure that everything was in order,
mhm.
as James Cameron would have done, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, this,
Yeah,
yeah,
he would have trusted a woman to do it, or he would have to come over
no.
and supervise.
This is
No.
Catherine Bigelow's like second movie.
Is it his second? I thought it was first.
I think she has like what technically one before this that was just a
Oh,
complete dud. The Loveless. Um, yeah,
you know
and
what I want to see, because
with
this
Willem
this guy is
Dafoe.
this guy, the co-writer is the guy that wrote The Hitcher. He wrote this one. I guess he loved hitchhiking because in this one there's a lot of hitchhiking as
That's
well.
true.
But he also co-wrote Blue Steel, I think it is. This is the next
Is that a
movie.
helicopter movie?
No,
That's
it's
with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, it's Catherine Bill directed, and he co-wrote it with her. So I kind of want to see that one too, to see how
And the
the
cover
trajectory.
looks kind of badass.
Yeah, it does.
She's like just holding the gun. Looks like she's a cop
Yeah, Blue Steel
officer.
makes sense. Cop, I can see that.
Yeah, and then it goes to Point Break, Strange Days, another hard movie to find, or was for a while.
Point
And then
Break is so good, man.
Strange
yeah,
Days is incredible. Honestly, I love Strange
Strange
Days.
Days,
That's
and
one that I
She's a
didn't
good
like. My
director,
wife
man.
introduced that to me like when
yeah,
we
it's like
were
she should
first
have won an
dating.
Oscar or something.
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy.
she won. Hurt Locker is like my least favorite Kathleen Bigelow movie.
Hurt
I
Locker,
agree.
Zero Dark 30, which did that win Best Picture?
No, but it was
No,
nominated for a shit
yeah,
It
ton.
she
got
definitely got
nom
nominated
Yeah.
Didn't
And
she?
then
Did she win? Did she win the Oscar
she won
for Hurt
Hurt
Locker. Yeah.
Locker
for her locker?
cleaned up. She was the
And she
first.
beat Cameron the year Avatar came out, which was the
Yeah.
big. That was like I feel like that's half the reason she won
And
was so that a bunch of people could stick it to James
I
Cameron.
mean, that
that,
the
yeah.
Amy Poehler and Tina Fey joke at the Golden Globes is still like up there in terms of like the best jokes ever. When it was when she was nominated for Zero Dark 30, and they were talking about, oh, she knows about torture. She was married to James Cameron for a decade, and everybody was like, ha ha ha, and James Cameron was like,
Um, and then it looks like after Zero Dark 30, she did Detroit, which I remember being just fine.
Yeah.
was 2017, and now it says she's an untitled film in 2025.
Yeah.
But
That's a
it's
long layoff, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
it says, and that stars Idris Elba, Rebecca Ferguson, some
Fucking
big
love Rebecca
names.
Ferguson.
Yeah,
Um,
first and awesome.
Greta Lee. I mean, this is a good cast.
It's a great cast.
Premise: a group of White House officials scramble to deal with an incoming missile attack on the U.S. Oh, that sounds like a fucking banger of a.
White House Down.
Oh, and they filmed in Trenton, right near where I live.
All right, let's talk
Um.
about Near Dark.
Anyway, so Near Death, yeah, her second
Near
movie,
Dark.
but her
There's
first
one thing I want to say
Near
real
Dark.
quick, and this like I kept this in mind when I was watching Near Dark because it's like a mindset. I want to put myself in the mindset of a person in 1987, and that is that this is also the same year that The Lost Boys came
Yep.
out. And I think
Mhm.
that
I have
is
it on my notes.
very important
Do
to
you
keep in mind
think
when
they
you're
were?
watching this movie is like The Lost Boys came out
Do
this
you
year. The
think?
bar is like up, you
Do you
know?
think they were aware of it?
I'm not sure what the release schedule was, and I don't want to Google it right now. I don't
I'm
want to
looking
spend
it.
time
I'm
Googling
looking
it.
it.
I mean,
But
it's one of those movies like
Lost Boys comes out.
but
Armageddon
I feel like
and
before or
Deep
after, it's like
Impact.
even if this had momentum, Lost Boys would have eaten it up,
Oh,
you
Lost
know?
Boys comes out first
Yeah.
in
Yeah, that's a
July,
killer.
That
and
sucks.
then this is a Halloween release. This is
Okay.
October. I
And
mean,
it does have a lot of
so
similarities.
Absolutely. It's like, especially with the love story element to it
and
and
the
stuff,
love
which
story
I'm
don't
sure they
work
pushed
here.
heavily, because
Uh,
off the success of Lost Boys, you would be promoting this movie that way.
Yeah,
Like,
so I think also
yeah.
big of that is this company, De Laurentiis,
mm.
that they did not promote this got no
Right,
promotion,
they
they
didn't
got
have the
Is
money
nothing.
to
this
do a
They
big,
company
had
yeah.
no money. I mean,
is this company like Canon? Like
I I don't know in full. I just know they were completely defunct, like basically by the time this got
Like
released.
this is by the one, yeah, like they had. I mean, De Laurentiis
Oh, by the
Pictures is a fairly big name. They produce some big
yeah,
movies, but like,
they're canon, by the way. The first fucking thing that one of the things that comes off is Maximo Overdrive. I mean, Manhunter's a good movie. I mean, they helped
right,
Evil
yeah.
that's what I'm
Dead.
saying. They had some
They
good
put
movies too,
yeah,
but
Evil
like,
Dead 2.
yeah,
But then there's shit like King Kong Lives, Trick or Treat. Like they were all over the
So
map
yeah,
of
so they
this.
were a Canon-esque type
Canon-esque, Near
production.
Dark's there, and then
yeah.
this 87 by 92, their last movie is Rampage. They're
And
done.
they're
But they
basically
did
doing straight to video at that point.
yeah,
Like,
they helped with
There's
Bill,
also there's
but it's
also
all
some
helping
like
with, right? Like they help with Bill and Ted. Like
yeah,
they're there, but I'm not gonna read
they're not
full
making their
reviews.
own movies. They're like a production arm that can like
let's let's
you
Except
know.
for
let's
Near
stay
Dark.
let's stay a little bit with the Lost Boys and Near Dark comparisons because
Yeah.
I was watching it while I was working and there's a couple of like obviously like the love story, the outsider coming in and becoming a vampire
The
and
punk aesthetic
the punk aesthetic.
is
Yeah.
huge.
Um,
There's a little
but
bit more like Western, neo-Western in this one,
yeah,
obviously.
Well, so
like there was
Catherine
also some visuals too that were very similar,
silhouettes, a lot of silhouettes.
Yeah, I mean, we're
very
definitely in
similar.
the this is a very post Michael Mann movie, especially like we're getting
Yeah,
into the end when it's like the showdown. You got Lone Rider against a blue smoke background. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It,
But
it's
I would say,
very it's
but I would
very
say,
thief.
I would say Lost Boys gets more.
It's a better movie.
It's a better movie. I love Lost Boys. There's an episode of me and TJ talking about Lost Boys
Who?
in the channel if you want to go over there. Very, very good movie. But it gets more not childish, but it's I think it's the element of the Corey. The Corey's
Oh yeah,
makes it more kid friendly, even though it's a horror
it makes
movie
it
and
feel a
it's
little more
pretty
like a little more
Yeah. I
adventure-y.
mean,
Yeah,
so
like
yeah,
let's
this one is it's feels more grounded and more adult.
well, this is the
This
movie. Near Dark is also I mean, it's barely it's not we're talking about a horror podcast. It's not a horror movie. It's barely a genre. It's a western through
yeah.
it's an action western at the end of the day.
I
Um
mean, but you can say the same thing about Sinners, but
yeah,
yeah.
I
I
would still
agree.
call it a horror.
Sinners has I think Sinners is more of a horror. This is a little bloody here and there, but they're not focused on
I mean, the
vampires
bar
are scary.
the bar sequence is pretty badass. I love
Yeah,
that
and
bar
also they're
sequence.
doing they're doing the classic like part of the horror is like him turning and like what's his life going to be and what him like
Sure, no.
experiencing this world and stuff. This is pretty. I would say this is pretty standard vampire fare. I wouldn't say this is any less of horror movie than most vampire movies.
All right, Joe, tell us about the plot.
But we don't do that anymore.
No,
Sorry.
I'll
No.
do that. I'll do that.
no, we don't do
I'll
it.
do that. I will do that for old time's sake.
For old time's
Cowboy
sake.
Caleb Colton meets gorgeous May at a bar. Not really. And the
Meets
two,
is strong because he literally just sees her
yeah,
and
there
then
she's
immediately like comes
Isn't
onto
that
her and is just
isn't
trying to
that
get with
meeting
her.
though, Brian?
And-
Isn't
and
that
There's
meeting?
not like I don't
hold
know.
on. The rest of the sentence kind of got it. And the two have an immediate attraction. But when May turns out to be a vampire and bites Caleb on the neck, their relationship gets complicated.
It was such a quick
So
transformation.
quick.
It was
Racked-
barely a bite, and he
Racked-
instantly was a vampire.
First of all, we need to talk about how he deserved to get bit too. Like he's such a creep, man.
He's-
Like
it's-
he's
it's
all
not-
over.
it's
And they
not
talk about
great.
this instant connection. There's not really a lot of chemistry here.
It's not a great interaction with that. I think what it is what plays it is, I think they're trying to rely on his like, you want him to be charming and cutesiness with like stopping the car, being like, come on,
Yeah, come on. I'm not gonna let you to safety until you kiss me.
yeah. Well, they had already kissed and stuff, so I took that as
I'm
like,
holding you hostage. Yeah,
but like the
this
minute
is
she actually
cute and
starts like,
fun.
what I think a problem with playing that is, uh, May completely goes into, at the same time to make it not appealing, goes into wailing like, I got to get out of here, and he's still like, oh, I'm just a cool guy, and it's like, no,
Yeah,
that's
she's
when you
literally
drop
like
that.
she's obviously like scared and weirded out about something, but he's still like,
But
hey,
do you
this is a
think-
sexy
do you think-
like that's the
game.
disconnect, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a way to play that, like
Well, I just
weirdly enough-
already felt like, I mean, I guess that's just movie stuff. You can't waste a lot of time on like,
no,
but
there's
I just was
time in
like,
here.
he sees her just like, boom, that I'm on, and
Like,
they're
I
just
think-
I
like
mean,
not-
I honestly appreciate that type of like that's kind of like I don't know, like
Weird.
Flashdance or like Dirty Dancing. It's like it's an instant. Okay,
just
this
love
is
at
my
first
life.
sight.
Well,
But I don't
yeah.
feel like these two have the chemistry either. I don't feel
No,
like
no,
when they
no,
were
I'm
on
just saying, like,
screen
it's
together, I
very
felt
common.
that,
well,
I'm
that's
just saying
the
it's
problem.
very
The chemistry,
common.
like I think, and also the charisma. Like I think we could get, weirdly enough, Bill Paxton can play that role.
No, he's perfect. He's perfect where he is.
No,
Don't
in this movie he is, but like,
But you're right that he
of
could have
Caleb,
played the
he
lead.
could
in
have
this
played
as
that.
well.
yeah, like a
fuck-
twister, like
or
a
fuck-
twister
Right.
person.
Tom Hanks of this era, or like your modern
Honestly,
day,
like this
day
movie is
John
like
Hamm could play that, and I would go
Maybe a
not-
Jason Patrick.
Yeah, okay, not
Anybody.
My point to be is not a creepy scene from the man's perspective. because I
Michael J.
don't-
Fox. I'm just gonna
Yes,
start
no,
naming people.
No, you're actually naming someone who could do it. Like I don't think Catherine Bigelow's intention and point was for us today to be saying, "Yo, Caleb comes off as creepy as shit and annoying
No,
in
yeah.
this interaction." Like that wasn't the intent. The intent was
No,
like
no.
he's cute.
He's supposed to be cute and charming.
Yeah, it's
And-
crazy because she buys him, right? And they offer him to give him like a
And
personality.
maybe a little bit more of a charismatic actor could have pulled it off too.
Yeah. And the group, she buys him, and the group invites him in and tries to give him a personality, and he rejects it because he can't have a personality. So it's it kind of worked for him though, for him being like a bad actor because it
You know what
plays into Caleb's motives.
You know what I found out with this actor on a personality? So he's mainly a voice actor these days.
Okay.
He is basically the official voice of Iron Man for like decades.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Like in any cartoon.
like any cartoons.
Any
or
card
anything, he's basically doing,
pre-Downey,
like-
post-Downey. He's like always
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Nice. Good for him.
But yeah, like I don't know, this movie would be like 5 stars if you just replace the two leads.
I honestly agree.
Possibly.
Like you replace May, Caleb, and the dad with something better.
So I like the dad actually.
Yeah.
He just didn't give me anything. Like
I'll
it
tell you,
would've-
it's not his fault. That's that part of the story is just way undercooked.
Yeah,
There's not
exactly.
enough of the like you
Yes.
don't really get enough with the dad and daughter in their search for Caleb to like really even form an opinion on him. I don't feel
Yeah,
like.
until like
I feel like that
Homer.
actor could have been fine. Also, his name's Tim Tomlinson or something stupid like that, so it's hilarious. But
Yeah, we don't have anything to do with them until like Homer becomes a vampire pedophile with
right.
the with
Well,
the.
that's the thing. It's like literally they just kind of like remember that they're supposed to be there and they make them show up at the same hotel. It's like,
Yeah,
oops, yeah, we
it's
forgot
so
to bring. We got to
stupid.
bring this together.
It kicks it off
We're
of
getting way down the road on this one. I
yeah.
do want to go back to what Yusuf
Oh, we
said
got
about the
it.
quick turn because I noted that too. I was like, damn, he barely got bitten. He's already cooking in the sun and trying to get home. He's already like
She
it's
even
immediate.
she didn't even like suck. Like it was like kind of like she
Yeah.
bought and she was like she
She
stops
almost bit him to
herself.
get his creep ass off of her.
Yeah,
And then like
but
kicks him in the
I
road
did
and he walks
enjoy
home.
I did enjoy the use of like the sun and the like. I mean that's pretty much every vampire movie.
No,
But
I
I
like the char effect when they're burning in
yeah,
this
that's
Yeah.
what I
one.
was
Like
gonna say.
it's like a little bit slower
It
and like
takes
the
some
way they
time.
blacken and stuff. I like that.
What
I
Really like
agree. I
that.
have that note too.
it's this movie has interesting lore, like interesting vampire rules, right?
Yeah, they're not like way outside the realm for the most part, you know,
I
like
Well,
mean,
there's
they
no
never
real they don't
say
really do much
vampire either.
no.
flying or anything like that, but they're super strong. They can't be killed out
The
except for basically
sun
sunlight.
and the one thing that's different, which is jumping to the end spoiler, is if you get a blood transfusion, you're good again. But apparently, that is part of the original like Bram
Right, they
Stoker's
do jump. I was gonna
Dracula.
say they do blood transfusion stuff in Bram Stoker. It doesn't work, but they try it.
Yeah, this one
Um,
works.
yeah, this
Oh,
one works. I always wondered about that too, like because this isn't the only movie. I mean, they do blood transfusion in lots of and vampire movies because it comes from original lore,
mhm.
so they like to bring it back. But I always wondered, like, if your whole body feeds on blood, wouldn't your body just take that blood too and be like, "Thank you, yum,
Well,
I'm a
in this movie,
vampire.
that's
Thanks
why
for
it
more
also
blood."
doesn't.
Like,
That's
I
why
don't
it does.
understand how that
That's why
works.
it doesn't make
because it's
much
not going to the
sense.
stomach.
I know. I guess it
Yeah,
goes because it's going,
him.
but I mean, your blood, you know, your stomach processes and then it goes out into your veins and arteries. That's the way
I
your
think it
body
makes
works
perfect
too.
sense,
Like
Brian. I think
I
it's
think
the
what
science is
doesn't
there.
the
Have
science
you
and
the
done your own
science
research?
is
the
sound.
Have you
science
done
also
your own research?
the science also doesn't make sense of it's just them being horny of being like feed off of her wrists, but you can't do too much or else she'll die. It's like, well, she doesn't have blood coursing through her
Well, yeah,
veins.
and it also doesn't make sense. They pick him up and they're gonna kill him because he like knows their secret. He knows she's a vampire and she bit him. But then they don't kill him because he's becoming a vampire. But then they threaten to kill him. They give him a week and they're gonna kill him. But then he gets like a million
Well,
chances, and every time he fucks
I
he
think
never
I
does
think
what
well,
they
it's
want him to do, and they
I
constantly just
think it's
like, you better
because
stop that.
it's like
I
you
think
get
it's
a
because of May. I think they're trying to give May like because clearly May wants him, so he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill him if
Well,
it
yeah, I
doesn't
mean,
work
not to
out.
get too much into it, but
get
when
into it.
we do meet the family, you got Lance Henriksen, um,
Awesome,
Jeanette Goldstein,
mi
Bill
gente.
Paxton,
Awesome,
uh,
Homer.
like a
May,
little
who's the
kid.
actress I don't know, and then Homer, the little kid. And the
I
lore
fucking
is kind
hate
of like,
Homer.
I think the lore is if I pieced it together, it's like
Lance is the original.
Lance is the first one, and then I think you Bill Paxton after him.
No, I
So
think it was Homer
I think Homer's one of the first ones.
Oh,
because they call
okay.
him an old
Yeah,
man.
he
Oh, that's
goes,
true. Let's call him old
yeah.
man. Is Homer the one who turned Lance Henriksen?
I thought
No,
home no,
No.
no, it's Lance. I think it's Homer,
Jeanette.
then Jeanette, then
But I feel like
Bill, and then
Jeanette's
Homer
hasn't
turned
been
May.
I feel like Jeanette hasn't been turned as long as you think because they're talking about later and he's talking about picking her up as a hitchhiker. So it has to have been within
I
the
think,
last
Oh,
like
yeah,
40 or 50 years.
yeah,
and he's from
I
the
think
Civil
they're,
War, so
yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're fairly fresh. I think Lance and Homer are the old school
But I
dudes.
feel like Bill Paxton
it's
maybe
not far
even before
behind.
Jeanette Goldstein, or maybe close
Yeah,
together.
and then
But then
May's
Maybe
Homer
new.
tries to Homer turns is the one who turned May,
turn
and you
May.
don't and they never really explain, but you get the impression that like he's an old man in a kid's body and he was horny.
You
And
wanted
that's why
May.
he turned May. But May was like, gross, you're a little kid. No, thank you.
Hmm.
Yep. And that's why he wanted to take the little girl because
And now they're
May
trying to find
preferred
someone for
Caleb.
May because apparently Bill Paxton's not good enough for her. What?
Well,
Like, I
Bill
mean,
Paxton is
he's a
he's
psychopath.
just a psychopath who's like fluid.
That bar sequence, they
That's
Bill
the highlight.
Paxton.
The bar
That's the
sequence
highlight.
is the movie. I mean,
Yeah,
like everything else could fall away, and as long as that bar sequence exists, you're like, God damn, this is
You know
fucking
what?
That
good. This is
bar,
good.
that bar
Like,
sequence and him versus the truck, the
yeah,
makeup and
yeah.
those, and
Which
him
is fully
ripping.
just Terminator, right? Like, I mean, he's just doing a Terminator.
Yep. Those two sequences are, and also I think the two cat like the little like seedlings of Catherine's future in Point Break and all that stuff, like the standoff between the cops and
Oh,
the that
yeah.
was pretty well shot too, with the bullet holes coming in and then
Right, that idea
flame
where the shootout is still scary because even though the bullets can't hurt them, the
the
holes
The
basically
holes can.
yeah,
effectively work the same way, and
Her
like a shaft of light works like a bullet.
her
yep,
That's a very
super
smart
smart,
bit.
her
Like,
action direction, I mean, and tension, right? Like that's what
yep.
this movie fools is so good, and what continues through her filmography after this movie, I mean, I'm not gonna act like I saw the first one, The Loveless, is the tension's there. She
Yeah.
captured however to do this tension and then brings it to Point Break, brings it to
Mhm.
Strange Days. Fuck, the Hurt Locker is so anxiety inducing.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she knows the tension of it. Like, she knows how to direct.
You
There's no
know,
doubt about that. Like I said,
uh
Hurt Lock's my least favorite, but it's not like it's a badly directed
no, but
film or
it's
No.
it's
anything.
that, right?
Like,
It's 2 hours or however it is of anxiety of this soldier
yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Zero Dark 30 is a little more traditional because you're just telling this another soldier story through a more biopic.
Yeah.
But what I want to bring a little attention to too is talking about the aesthetic and look is, I mean, the original poster, I don't know if you guys could visualize it, is fucking badass. It's Bill Pullman, like
Bill
burnt
Paxton.
up, Paxton,
Paxton.
sorry, burnt up, fucking with the char and lights coming shining
Right,
through.
he's got like bullet holes with light shining
Yeah,
through him.
it's
Yeah.
awesome. And then
Yeah, that's a great
comparatively,
poster.
I sent it in their chat just now because it made me laugh because I actually of the Twilight one that they try to rebrand it with, which is
Mm.
very funny.
Oh, the Twilight poster's
Holy shit.
hilarious. That's
Um,
He
incredible.
never looked that way in the
no,
entire
she
movie.
never looked
No, he
that
never.
way.
Well, that's the thing. He almost really like. That's why I thought that the transfusion was going to work on him. But then when they do it to May, I was like, oh, so you can just do it. Doesn't matter. She'd been a vampire for like 4 or 5 years, and it's like, oh, so it doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
thought
I
because he never really like killed and fed
Yeah,
himself,
exactly.
that's why
He
the
never fed.
transfusion worked. But apparently, you can just transfuse your way out of
I
being a
was I
vampire
was
in this
honestly like
universe.
I was kind of low key laughing at that ending because I was like,
Yeah.
he was like, I can fix her. She's a murderer psychopath, but she's my murderer
It reminds,
psychopath.
you know what, Brian?
No, I definitely wrote down this will not last.
No, like
There's no way a
she's
relationship based on I turned you into a vampire for a minute.
she's a yeah,
Yeah,
she's
we
a
had a little
hobo.
horny connection, but like,
She's a killer hobo like for years, and
who's
now
gonna
it's just like I'm gonna work at the farm with the fucking cowboy. What the
Speaking
fuck?
of the killer hobo, I do want to go back. We're jumping around a lot, but I wanted to talk about the scene where she's kind of teaching him about being a vampire, and we're also seeing the like kind of killing methods of the other family members. I
Yeah,
think that's a really cool little
that's a
like
cool scene.
sequence. You see Homer like
Play
baiting
dead.
people in as a
Mhm.
child. You see obviously Bill Paxton just using his Bill Paxtonness to like charm his way into
Yeah,
people.
But it's
Um
weird. Bill Paxton
they
has
like
such
the
that
other
fucking
Lance likes
ooze.
to do hitchhikers. He likes to find hitchhikers. That's his deal.
That was a good scene when they get picked up and the guys
Yeah.
have the guns.
Oh yeah, I love that where they think they got the drop on him. That's such a fun one.
Yeah, and he's like, "For you," and he puts the radio
And he
up.
has to comment on Jeanette Goldstein's giant cans.
Well,
yeah, some Latina cans.
Yeah,
Um,
big brown cans.
yeah, I really love
there were
the
cons, man,
talking
cons.
Cans,
about
they were just
Good cons.
cans.
talking
Oh,
about the there's like there I think there's some missed opportunities in terms of the gore, definitely. Like specifically
it
when
probably
like
bugged.
in the bar scene, I thought it was so cool when he was like, I just want the glass. And then they cut the throat. They should like they don't show when they're like actually collecting the blood for the glass that he
Yeah,
wanted.
I wonder if
Yeah, I
that's
think the
a
shot, the
budget.
kind of like editing there's a little choppy and a
Yeah,
little, and that might be it might have been that it was too gory and she was forced to cut it down, and that's why
Maybe,
it's
yeah.
like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, you never
Um,
know. It, you, It could have used a little more gore. That's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
very much a movie that I think is trying to say this is this love story, right? It has a weird two-tone to it for me to go in the like not horror realm is like even though this movie came out after, it like wants to be true romance at some points.
Oh
And
yeah.
then like the way the family behaves is very much like a movie we covered on this show in Infinity Pool. The way they
I love
the way
Infinity
those
Pool.
fucking insane people in
I love
Infinity Pool run around and terrorize, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's reminiscent. This once again, this came first, but they're
Sure.
Did you guys
reminiscent.
like Infinity Pool? I liked
Oh,
Infinity
Oh yeah, we love
we loved
Infinity
it.
Pool here.
Very
Yeah.
good.
We talked about it with Lon.
Yeah, we had old buddy
We got to get
Lon
Lon
talk
on this
that
show now
one.
that he lives where I think he lives where Yusuf lives
He
now.
lives in Austin and he sounds lonely, so we bet he'd come on our show again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh for sure, for sure.
He moved for Joe Rogan?
Yeah, exactly. He's working for Joe Rogan
His
now.
new boss
Nice.
that moved him out is Rogan. It's actually Tony Hinchcliffe.
Rough.
I'd respect working for Rogan more, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at least I was like, yeah, there's some dignity left there, I think. But
There's
He's like, I could justify Tim Dillon a little bit.
I guess it's just comparatively. Like I'd be sad about the Rogan thing too, but like the Hinchcliffe thing would hit harder. I'd be like, oh, that's like, oh, that's really bad.
I agree. No, but I don't know this movie. Like like I said, this is my first watch, so like
Oh, both
I
first
s-
watch.
I
Nobody had
s-
seen this before. That's
I
great.
Yeah, no,
see
I've
a
seen it.
lot of other movies have elements of like things
Oh,
done in
sure.
this, which were not the first things done in this, but like
I did want to ask you guys, can you think of an earlier vampire movie that you've seen that did the child vampire thing?
Well,
child vampire.
earlier.
I mean, what's
No.
the Stephen King one?
No, yeah, I guess Salem's Lot has
Salem's
like
Lot.
has kid vampire stuff in it. Yeah, I just couldn't think of one that was like a big one that had come out before that, but definitely Salem's Lot. Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do other like polls and references, this has very
Well,
much that
Oh, I
level.
mean, I'm
technically
sure
that
there's,
was.
like,
Well, it was it. Wouldn't it be Interview with a Vampire? I think the book came out way before the movie, and
yeah, I
that's
don't
in
know
the
when the book was released. That's a good question.
yeah. The book came out way before the movie, so I would say that was
That's
the
probably
first.
yeah.
There's
Um,
probably other instances too,
Yeah,
but
because
I'm
obviously
99%
I had
sure
Interview
that
with the Vampire in my mind, but I was thinking about the movie, which came out like the early 90s. So
yeah, 91,
Yeah.
I think 90.
we can talk
Talking
about the
about-
bar scene a little bit more because that's
Yeah.
about where we're at, right? God damn, what a great scene. And we get to see Bill Paxton feed on the scenery. This guy is going to work out there,
Yeah.
boy.
I mean,
It was like one line after one line.
is it weird that I don't think he overdoes it?
No, he
it's not.
didn't.
Like that's the thing.
It
He's
was-
like firing. He's like doing full aliens. Like shtick. I mean, he's just talking, just running off of the mouth, and it's great. Like never
He's
for a
great.
minute. And he's terrifying the whole time too. Like you're
Oh, the
totally
spur?
intimidated.
The
He's
spur
scary.
murder. The
Oh,
spur
so
murder was
good.
so good. It was so
Love
fun.
it.
And like making fun of Caleb when he's like, "Did I do that?" And he's like, "Did I do that?" It's like it's so he entered kind of like in a flow state, kind of like
Yeah.
it obviously wasn't improvising, but it's kind of like when you see people improvise where everything that they're like Ben Schwartz and the guy from Silicon Valley have a show.
Murder
And where
Mr.
they're like-
Schwartz.
Yeah, and they're just
I just saw Ben Schwartz
improvising.
live. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
they're like
literally saw-
improvising it, and they enter like into a flow state, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
I
Like,
just saw Ben Schwartz's live show
nice.
a couple weeks ago. Ben Schwartz and Friends now because Thomas Middleditch got canceled.
Yeah,
But no, I saw Ben Schwartz do it. So, yo, their flow state is crazy. Like, there's
yeah.
4
So that
comics
was like
now,
Bill Paxton was just like ripping in
2-hour
that fucking bar.
Yeah.
2-hour
And the funny thing,
show.
funny thing is like clearly Lance is like the head honcho, but Bill Paxton is the one that is like sucking the air out of the room, and Lance is just letting him, like he's just sitting back and enjoying it.
Lance,
Yeah,
actually-
Lance is just old now. You know what I mean? He's just seen it all.
But
I
he's
think.
also like terrifying in the sense that he's just like letting it happen, but at the same time, like in his eyes is like, I can fucking kill everybody, including that asshole that is talking shit right
Yeah.
now in
He
Bill
gets-
Paxton. But I'm just chilling here.
Well,
I also there's a little of Chet from Weird Science in Bill Paxton's character too, like the
Yeah.
kind of shitty big brother
Shitty big brother.
vibe to it.
Lance lore drop when he said he fought for the South. That made me laugh as fuck.
So funny. It's so good.
And him spinning the bullet, that was one of the greatest scenes of the movie too.
Yeah.
When he gets shot and he goes and just puts it in the pocket, that was so fucking badass. He's like, "This is for you."
Taps
It's
his
like,
chest,
God
like that's yours.
damn.
Yeah. You already mentioned the thing with the waitress. Also, we got to give a shout out to the T2 stuntman actor guy who is in this scene as well. You know, he's from Terminator 2. He gets thrown on the grill. He's like the guy who confronts Arnold. He basically has the same scene here with Bill Paxton.
Very
Get
nice.
fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to do a quick character corner. You know, I know this isn't DVD Bunker, but it wouldn't be a
What's
USEF
that?
show if I didn't bring it up.
What's that?
I gotta shout out my boy Troy Evans. He was there when fucking trying to go to the bus and
with the blood.
yeah, and he comes up and he's like you know, he's just
You're
always
looking
playing
bad,
a cop.
son.
Yeah, he's just always playing a cop. Like that's all he ever does.
I saw
swear
him
to God,
too.
Halloween 5, The Frighteners, and The Stand are a shared
The
universe. 'Cause He literally
Frighteners.
has the same outfit on in all
The
three
Frighteners.
movies.
When I saw
where
him,
I
I
know
was
him.
like, I know this motherfucker. And I looked him up and I was like,
Yeah.
the Frighteners. The
That's right.
fucking Frighteners.
If he's a cop with a flat top, that's probably Troy Evans, baby.
But that scene was so funny to me because I would have been like, what the fuck are you like? You're bleeding from why are you touching me? Like he's like, son,
Get the fuck
are
out of
you
here.
okay? Are you okay? And he's like, get the
Oh.
fucking HIV hand away from me, man.
So, well,
This is 1987, man. Don't rub blood on me.
no one
Yeah,
was
get
born in
away from me.
1987.
And also, you seem like a junkie.
That's my-
Yeah.
a question of
like game
mine.
recognizes game. Like you think I'm high because you're fucking high right
You are
now.
high.
is would you help that guy out? Either as Troy, you know, as Troy's Evan character, the way he does, or even the dude with the bus ticket, just to be like, yeah, whatever. I'll take your
I would have given him
$12.
the $3, just like he's just sweating all over the place.
That's what I'm saying. How would you help that guy
Just-
out if he
just
came
get
up
Yeah, I
him
to
mean,
you?
off.
$3 is pretty cheap. I'd probably give him the $3.
The cop, the
Just
cop
to leave
giving
him
Seems like
him
he's in
the
a pretty
three,
bad way. You
Just
know?
to leave me
Yeah,
alone. I'd be
the
afraid
cop
of like,
giving him the $3 works. The employee shouldn't do it because that sweaty guy is gonna get in the bus, and he's part of the bus company. So he's like, I
That's
don't
true.
want to.
A liability
wanna-
there, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I just think that guy in the bus company has been like, I don't know. I've dealt with these it looks like I've dealt with these junkies
also,
coming in every day.
It's
asking for this
1987,
shit.
so asking for $3 is actually like asking for $15 in today's
That's
money.
true. That's
Mhm.
true.
It's a lot
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, he was far, and the way we learn later, he was far enough from home.
Yeah. Also, he barely is on that bus. He gets off that bus for no discernible reason
Oh,
and
he's-
just starts walking again and goes
That's one
back
of
to
my.
May.
Well, that's the funniest.
Well,
part
he
of
started
this.
getting progressively more sick.
Yeah, and then
farther
I
away
think that is what draws him back to May. Like he finds his way back to her,
Well,
and it must be like he
Yeah,
can
the
like he
connection.
hurts, and it lessens as he gets closer to
I
her, and
don't
then
know.
she feeds him. That's
Yeah.
Everyone
baby
in
as his baba.
everyone in this movie, which I get movie has to happen, just is always finding each other in the convenience.
Yeah,
of
there's a lot of
times.
convenient plot stuff in this movie. That's like I obviously alluded to it in my failed segue earlier, but I do think this movie is like super elevated by the cast of
yeah.
the
Oh,
family.
and
And
the
like the actual story and script is pretty weak. Like, and there's a lot of like
It's
kind of
super weak.
plot conveniences
Whoa.
and
No, dude.
couple
like,
that with the weakness of the leads. Like, goddamn, if you pluck Jason Patrick and Jamie Gertz out of Lost Boys and put them in the leads of this movie, it sings, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna rip. But doesn't quite hit
I
with
love
these two.
I love vampire movies. Like and every single vampire movie pretty much ends the same way in that the downfall of a vampire is their lack of or their blind spot with time management. They do
Yeah.
not know how to plan out a night, and they're
Even though
always
they've been doing
seeing-
this for years and years. That's
Years
what
and
cracks me
years,
about this movie,
but
especially.
this-
Lance
no,
Henderson's getting
this
caught in the
group-
sun 200, 150 years.
No,
he's been
dude,
doing
this group is always against the clock. That fucking sun comes up as if it's the first time and they're fucking shocked every single
Yeah,
fucking time.
and no, I mean, I get you have the nomadic lifestyle, but like, you need a you need a better plan.
I question with this movie and that plan too is they
Like, get a
they're
storage unit
so
and just everybody get in it during the
they're
day.
they're
Like,
so reckless and like murderous, and we're supposed to believe it's like this is every night for us,
Yeah.
and like you said, there's no plan to it, but it seems like this is like your Rumspringa. This is your big night out like once a year, and this is why you're all so off because, as you said, there's no system to their vampireness. Where,
Eh,
as we've seen other vampire films, even at this time, The Lost Boys, Fright Night,
hell yeah, the Lost
th-
Boys got a ripping ass lair.
there,
It's like a fucking
there's
sunken hotel. It's awesome.
there's a full-blown system.
yep.
That's why they are.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not that like I don't believe new Vampire on the Run would be having, but it's hard to believe that Lance Henriksen wouldn't have a better plan than this.
It's no
Yeah, it
less.
was like
150 years down
like
the line.
To
Like,
me,
spraying black paint on the windows. And it's like, dude, you're
also,
dead
all I can think
already.
of is like, God damn, it must stink to shit inside that van. If you're spraying all that,
and
like,
just
God damn, you can't
stealing
breathe in
and,
here.
Like
and stealing
I thought
van to
like it
van to
was
camper to then lighting them on fire. It's a very like, how often is this being done?
Well, right, and like not blacking the windows as soon as you get the vehicle, waiting until it's like panic mode and like, oh my God, put up the
But
foil.
also, wouldn't you like,
Why wouldn't you do that as soon as you get a new vehicle? Just immediately black out those windows, man.
and to go
time at like this
and
this group has we're always against the clock. It was
and
crazy.
and to go right back to the beginning too? Wouldn't you like, with Caleb? Wouldn't you just be like, yeah, no, run out. The sun's gonna get him. He's
Yeah,
not.
just let the sun get
But
him. No
we're
shit.
fine. Oh, May, we'll take care of you too because you're a nuisance. We could get a new one of you, right? Like she didn't seem
They
as
also
integral
like
to her group as the group as like let's compare it to Twilight. The Colons have known each
let's
other.
compare it to
No,
Twilight.
no, seriously, the Colons have known each
They have
other and
the
developed
Twilight has
relation.
nothing but lore. Like that's
Yeah,
all they have.
has developed relationships and also come from like the Civil War and shit like that. Like they care. This ragtag group, Lance Anderson and Hispanic Jeanette Goldstein are kind of the only ones that are like intertwined with each other, and like Homer's there for like, because it's been this long.
Because a kid by himself is weird and he would
Yeah,
actually draw way more attention if he was a kid by himself. He kind of needs them to just
yeah,
like pose as his parents.
and like everything else is very just like, and it's fun. The movie's fun. I'm just ripping a
No,
giant
that's what
hole
I'm saying.
through it.
The fucking dynamic of the family is so good and so captivating, and those actors are so great that you just like let all this shit slide. The first time I watched this, I was like, this movie's awesome. This
Yeah,
rips.
Yeah.
And then I watched it this time and I was like, this movie's still good and I like it, but like it's not like there's some like tent poles made of great acting that are holding up a very rickety kind of like structure.
and the biggest
Yeah.
part of the foundation, that Tangerine Dream score
Yeah, beat it.
is
Right.
leading the charge to this movie. I mean, it is
Really
it
sets the tone.
oh yeah, that the well shot images only work with that score.
Yeah.
I mean, like I would say you probably like raise your film a whole star rating just by having a Tangerine Dream
Yeah,
soundtrack.
there was a few, there was a, at this time especially there's a few we give Risky Business, blinking on others, but they happened.
No, they had Tangerine Dream had several.
Um, we'll go to
They
it.
did they do the Thief? Is they do Thief
They
too?
did Thief. Yes, they did the
Yeah.
Thief, which
I
is a better
introduced
score.
Thief to you guys.
You
I
That
know,
did, you
Yusef doesn't take
did, you
credit. He also
did.
made me watch Climax, and that movie sucked.
They
I
did The
watched
Wall.
Drowning Mona. We're tied.
No, that's a great film.
I fucking love Climax too.
I
So
had all
what the fuck?
bangers.
What was gonna happen?
Stupid opinions always happening.
Stupid opinion.
I had all bangers. They also did Grand Theft Auto 5.
Nice.
Can't beat it.
But no, their shit rules. Yeah, Sorcerer, Thief,
Yeah, Sorcerer.
Risky
That's one of
Business,
the
Sorcerer.
Legend, The Keep, Firestarter, Flashpoint, Heartbreakers, Shy
Damn,
People,
Firestarter 2.
and
Damn,
Near
they're
Dark.
killing it.
And they killed it. And they released their own theme music for the television series Stranger Things. because they help
because
inspire.
the music was basically a knockoff of Tangerine
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Dream.
was a knockoff.
it
What were the
was
name of what's the name of those? The brothers, something brothers?
Duffer
The
Brothers,
Duffer
Duffer
Brothers,
Brothers.
Chemical Brothers, Fight Club.
Chemical Brothers. They did the Spawn soundtrack.
Yeah, Fight Club.
Yeah, and Fight Club.
But no, so the movie, yeah, has its issues and it's not, but
It's not perfect. It's not,
it's not
but I mean,
perfect.
it's technically the first movie of hers. Is pretty solid. I understand the cult classic behind it,
Yeah,
like
I
the
get it.
cult
I
following.
think it's worthy of that.
It's
Like I
worth it.
don't
Yeah,
think it's like there's plenty of cult classics that don't have as much to offer as Near Dark.
I
Like
No,
agree.
it's not a bad movie by any means. It's just really propped up by some incredible
if someone
performances.
wants
Yeah,
And a
to,
couple of and like I said, like there's some all-timer vampire scenes in it too, and like you can't take that away from it.
I
I
think
sure.
would say the bar scene and the hotel shootout are both like classic vampire
well,
scenes.
Yeah,
what's interesting is too, they're vampires that use guns. Like they're like
Yeah.
out to kill that way, which you don't normally see. Like the design of the vampire, right? There's no design of the vampire. We don't even like. I don't think we ever even see any fangs.
nope.
No, not
They
really.
their faces don't change. There's no fangs.
You know,
They don't mention vampire ones.
which is interesting because it is the 80s, which just like at that time, it's very just like, oh shit, are we
A
dealing with
lot of that though speaks
vampires?
to the stripped down nature of the movie and of the family vampires themselves. They are like
It's a Western.
they're moving, they're nomads, so they go super light. They don't take anything with them, and that
Yeah.
includes lore, I guess. They don't have any lore either.
We don't need lore. I mean, you don't need lore in a movie.
No.
No, I
Um,
agree. I agree. I would have. I personally would have liked a little bit more behind each of them because we only got lances and then a little bit of diamondbacks because like they hinted at he was a hitchhiker
yeah,
and he turned her because he couldn't turn down a sexy Latina.
yeah.
But outside of that, like, and then Homer turned May, but we don't
Yeah.
get
But
like
we don't know much
more.
else about their lives
So
before. And yeah,
Yusuf,
I agree. That would have been interesting to hear a little
A
bit more
little
about
bit.
that.
Nothing.
yeah.
No. Like, how did
No.
Indiana Jones choose the whip and
Mhm.
the
So
and
I
his
mean, this
hat
Right,
type
is
of
I
lore?
don't need them to stop and do a monologue, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can pepper some stuff in. I did think I was watching it this time, May. I was trying to think of like there's somebody vampire adjacent that May reminded me of, and I think it's the kind of pusher character from Doctor Sleep, the girl that they pick up
hmm.
in the
Yes.
like there's something about the way she's styled and stuff that I was like, I wonder if like he pulled a little bit from Near Dark because they're basically a clan of vampires. So it makes sense that he would like use some stylistic archetypes, maybe.
Dude,
Like
Doctor Sleep is so fucking good.
Doctor
That
Sleep is it's crazy how good it is, especially like it has no real business being as good as it is
no,
because it's such a Frankenstein of like an
it's a
adaptation of the book, but also trying to be a sequel to Kubrick's movie, and like it should be a total fucking
It
mess, and
shouldn't
it's
work.
actually
It shouldn't
it
awesome.
work.
should not
Like,
work at all.
You know what
Should
is,
not work at all.
what's a big, big reason why that does? They said let's cast actors to play the characters like
Ewan
Wendy and
McGregor.
Jack,
yeah.
and not de-age them or put big old
Oh yeah,
prosthetics.
yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
CGI or whatever. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the bad CGI. I think that is a huge part of why that movie sings, because
Yeah.
when you're seeing the flashback scenes that are recreations of the movie The Shining, I'm not too worried of like that doesn't look like Jack Nicholson. Like it's an
No,
actor, doing a stage play of The Shining, in a good
yeah,
way or
Well, and also
whatever.
I think a big part of like what they do right about that movie is before they ever like I mean, I know there's a little bit at the beginning with Danny and his mom and stuff, but like for the most part, they build a strong story separate from the Shining stuff, and then in the
and
third
then they
act,
land it.
they like really
And
get into it and
That
and
sequence, that bar sequence with him talking to his ghost dad or whatever the fuck he is,
yeah.
that yeah, okay, yeah, we've got a little side
and
tangent there.
We're talking
and
about Near Dark, but also Doctor
oh,
Sleep.
hold on Dr. Sleep real quick. And Rose the Hat's just, I think, one of the
Incredible.
sexiest,
I said
Well,
earlier I
sexiest
love
villains.
Rebecca Ferguson.
It's
and
just,
right
but
up there
that character, her, it's
with
very like,
David
it works.
from the Ridley Scott Alien movies as far as like one of my favorite villains in like the modern era and like the last 10 years probably. She's really good
She
in
also
that.
killed it in the kid with a sword or some shit like that. I don't remember the name of the
Oh
movie.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The
All right.
the the Arthur movie, but it was little kids. She's the
It was
bad guy,
yeah, it
and
was a terrible
Oh yeah, that's
name.
right. She's the villain in that. Yeah,
she kills it.
Kid Who Would
in
Be
that one.
King, right?
Kid Who Would Be
King,
King.
yeah, that one movie's good.
I
That's a
didn't
good
see it.
movie. That's one of those ones that nobody saw, but Harrison was the perfect age. We saw it in the theater.
Mm. There was a canceled remake of this, talking about those Twilights. 2006, they were trying to get this off the ground,
Near
Really?
Dark.
and Near Dark and Platinum Dunes, our friends there, pulled it because there's similarities of scripts and everything were to this movie Twilight coming out, and they were like, can't have two of these.
What were they going for? How is it
They're
even?
probably leaning into the romance
Yeah,
more with
leaning into the
those.
romance more, I imagine makes sense.
I
Yeah.
could see this getting a revival, a remake right now with the success of Sinners. Someone being like, "What properties do we
Well,
fucking got?"
it's so funny. I saw somebody being like, "Oh yeah, man, finally vampire movies are back." I was like, "There's been like five vampire movies.
5,000.
Nosferatu just came out.
They've never really like
Last Voyage of the Demeter, Renfield. Like these are movies in the last 2 years.
look.
Like
There was a little bit of Twilight vampire fatigue for like a couple years in the
not even that much because you have the Fright Night remake coming out around that time
no
and
no no no
stuff
not
I,
that time.
too.
I'm talking about the few.
Let the right one in. Let me in.
Buddy, you're talking
Like
about the same years as Twilight. There's no fatigue there. I'm saying a few years
oh okay.
after, there's a couple years. But a couple years doesn't mean we're back. It just means,
Nos
Yeah.
Nosferatu
it
was
happened.
so fucking good
But
too.
you're
I do
right.
like
Like,
Nosferatu too. I like Nosferatu a lot. I think it's funny that
it's fun.
Sinners came out and was like, "No, we'll show you what a horny vampire movie's
Hmm.
about."
You know what's funny? Nosferatu, I'm like, I love it. We love it. We all loved it. I loved it. And then I got together with some friends who were like just like normie casuals, and they're like, that was so funny
Oh,
because of like the way. And I'm like, yeah, I understand
yeah, I
what you're
guess.
seeing, but I was like, well, oh yeah, it wasn't, but okay. Like they were like, I just couldn't. I'm like, I thought it was good.
Also, bad time management on his end. He's like, he
Oh,
couldn't
that's
Yeah,
the
come.
that's
worst
classic to that story too. That's all.
He
But
couldn't
at
come
least
before the sun.
But you know what? Honestly, that speaks to me because I think any
because you
most
can't come
men
before the
can
sun.
relate to the idea of like, oh, I'll forego going to bed and like I know I'm making a bad decision with my time, but I will just like stay up all night if that's what it takes.
I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna say every man relates to. I have to come before X happens, and like you cannot come. It's like fuck. I really have to come, but you're in your head. You can't come, and the sun is coming. You're like, all right, I gotta
I
bust a
gotta
nut. I
get
gotta
this
bust a
going.
nut, and you're like,
Um,
you're just
I was
you're
trying
your
to
own
be,
worst enemy.
I was trying to keep it classy. Um,
Yeah, no. Near Dark. I feel like it is ripe for a remake in the sense that it there is a lot of missing, like a lot of meat on the bone, but
yeah.
it's not great for a remake in the sense that you're not gonna get a Bill Paxton, you're not gonna get a
No,
Right.
Lance.
I
You
don't
can't
think they will.
recapture these performances. It would be folly to try.
I think you obviously like most you stay away from it. It's not a thing. Also,
Yeah.
like now you do have who is a legendary director now, Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah,
Like you don't want to touch her work.
yeah, that's fair.
Um, you
Although
know,
they did remake Point Break and it sucked.
I always forget about that. That was one of those ones they played the trailer nonstop that summer of that movie, and then no one went to
They
go
really
see
thought
it.
it was going to be something and
Well,
nobody
the well
cared.
the
I
tra
mean,
I think
they can remake one of her movies and then just call it Joker
mhm.
and just pretend that it's a Joker movie.
um
You could do that.
Yeah,
Sure.
you
Yeah, why
can.
not?
That Point Break trailer though, I remember they only sold it on extreme sports. They're jumping out of airplanes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie looked horrible. I never seen it.
I didn't see it
No,
either.
I don't think I ever watched it either. I did watch
But
the Total Recall remake. It wasn't very good either.
I accidentally bought the Total Recall remake thinking it was Total Recall from like a secondary store.
That's
Oh,
funny.
Like
burn.
it was just like, oh yeah, throw like a dollar DVD.
Colin
Sure.
Farrell, right? Colin Farrell
Yeah,
was
Colin
playing it.
Farrell and Kate Beckinsale, if I'm not
That was also
mistaken.
Colin Farrell before everybody decided they liked Colin Farrell again. Like it was Colin Farrell in his kind of middling
With
phase.
my favorite of that phase, which is so bad, it's I only seen it because of how it's gonna be. Winter's Tale,
Oh yeah, I don't think I've
un
seen
Never
that
an
seen
one.
it.
un an unfilmable script, and it shows.
Hmm.
It features also one of the funniest cameos in real time. I'll tell it because no one's gonna watch it. So
No,
since
okay.
like 1920s, like consumption picture, and it's supernaturally and out of nowhere they Colin Farrell, I believe it's either Russell Crowe or Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell has a talk with the devil. The devil is played by Will Smith, but he's not of the time. He is in just like a suit jacket and a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt and looks and then they do like bad CGI like demon face briefly, but it
Oh,
looks
that's
like he
horrible.
showed up and was like, nah, the devil's from like 2006.
Yeah, the
Phila
devil's timeless, man. I'm all
Philadelphia.
over the place.
It's funny. It's one of my
That's actually
favorite.
really funny.
It's one of my favorite little like, huh? Um, no,
I
so
love
no,
that they cut to Will Smith and he's like on his phone. He's like, oh, what?
that's what it feels. That's what it feels like. It feels like Will Smith was like, I cameoed in Jersey Girl. I'll just cameo here, same way. I'm in a waiting room. We'll just figure it out.
You can afford me.
Um, anyway, I feel like this movie, I know we've non-traditionally talked about it so far, comparatively how we usually go through, and I think that's okay. This movie is very much as to me was like a vibe, as you said, that this meat of this story is these characters' performance and these little these set pieces here or there. Everything
Yeah,
Yeah.
else has very
absolutely.
like I told you guys in our text today. I woke up and I was just like, I work from home. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, and it's like real dark in a room. Like, oh, I'll get the Flyover movie out now. I kind of have the time. That Tangerine score, the very like subtle vibe of like
Yeah,
even that first hour, even though it does move, I found myself just like, I was like, oh, I basically fell asleep and didn't watch this. Like,
yeah.
I will watch this afternoon around like 2 o'clock, and I did, and I took notes and got into it and all of that. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna leave it here, and I know I'm rambling a little bit. Is I get where people are like, it's like my cult film. I love the
Yeah.
aesthetic. I love the character. I'm talking as a person. I love the characters, and how a lot of people would be like, "Oh, it's one of the greatest vampire movies ever made." I don't really hold that opinion. I think we can name. I think we
It's
can
fun.
name. I think we can name 10 vampire movies better than
We named a
this.
lot of vampire movies already, and they were a lot of them were
Um,
good.
Yeah.
uh, but I would never argue with someone if they said, you know which one I fucking love? This one.
No, this isn't movie fights.
You know, well, this isn't someone saying, you know what's my favorite vampire movie? Little Vampire with Jonathan Lipnicki. You
Oh,
know,
I forgot that defined the child vampire. This movie,
Yeah.
like they had it here, but they didn't really like
uh,
hone it in until that one.
actually, to answer Yusuf's child vampire question, what came before? Because when we were looking, found it, it's a good segue to that. The one you wanted to talk about if we had backup, Martin's early 70s.
Mhm.
Well, the Martin's technically not a vampire.
It came up in a list.
Isn't he though?
It's technically not a vampire.
Dog, it
Is
came
he?
up in a list.
I don't know. I've seen that movie.
I haven't.
That's the
Another one
plot of
I
the
haven't
movie, though.
seen.
He's not a vampire. He
That's what
thinks
he
he's a vampire.
I
says.
fucking love a
His
vampire movie
uncle,
though.
his uncle speaks differently.
I was grinning ear. Speaking of loving a vampire movie though, Sinners. Like there were scenes in it though. I was grinning ear to ear that made me leave in the theater. Like I fucking love a vampire movie. I want to go home and watch Fright Night. I want to, blah blah blah.
Oh, Friday Night is so much fun.
I'm a big fan of that remake too. I mean, it's
That's a
just
solid remake.
yeah.
It's all I remember.
But you know what I loved in Sinners, which I meant to talk about you guys though, and I know Brian was fucking bonered up, is wish we got more of those Navajo, those native fucking vampire
Oh
That's
hunters.
what
man, I
I
was so mad. What a tease,
I
right?
was like, I
that
was like, they're gonna, I
told.
was like, they're gonna come
How do
back.
you have a whole clan of native vampire hunters and just Oh, a little taste of
I
the
Oh, I
fucking
want
takeaway.
it.
told
And they're in the
I
thing, and then then they
I
talk,
hadn't
and they
even
like
thought about it for a minute, but you're absolutely right. That
and that
burned
was the
me
first time in the
up.
movie, like truly the smile was like, if you looked at me, you'd be like, what's wrong with this fucking guy? Is he gonna
Like this
like?
guy's a maniac.
I was like,
I was like,
and then it never came back, and I'm not mad about it, but I'm like,
no, because the movie's so good, it's fine, and that's not the plot. That's not the movie he was making. But like, it's that type of world building that
but
like made
it
Sinners
stayed
so
in the back
fucking
of my head
cool.
though.
Like,
well, that
It
was the
really stayed in the back of my head like the entire movie. Like I kept waiting for like a
I
like out of
almost think
yeah,
nowhere,
I
like
almost
a
think
fucking
yeah
arrow out of nowhere, like something.
yeah.
And it never happened. And when we walked out of the movie theater, we are like, "Oh yeah, that was fun. I really enjoyed
And
it. We
maybe that's
paid 80
just
bucks for a babysitter. That was awesome. We saw a
we
movie.
love that.
We had a lot
maybe
of fun.
maybe that's
Um,
just planting the seeds for
yeah, but
something bigger.
I told Lola, I was like, I looked at her and she's like, "Oh, you really like the movie?" And it's like, "Yeah, but I really wanted the Native Americans to come back." And she's like, "Right?"
Yeah.
Even if she was like,
Everybody was dying for it.
It's the way they showed up, the way they so good.
Yeah, that's a tight bit of
I
world
th
building that
I
really like
think
makes the movie.
I think this also like talking about that though. I wish I had something like that in Near Dark. I think like I was looking for like hoping there would be a little bit of that to it,
like a
right?
hunter,
No, no,
hunter
Or
type
like
less.
character.
maybe the abandoned subplot of the dad. Maybe he runs into somebody who has a
Yeah,
little bit of an
right,
idea what's going on and can kind of
right.
like guide him.
Like we when
Yeah, I
we
did
barrel
miss that.
like when we barrel to this end, it's just like the dad and the daughter are just like at the
The thing
same
with the fact that the
hotel.
dad and the daughter are just happen to be at the same hotel is so funny.
And the daughter's like, I'm getting a can of Coke at 3 a.m. Oh, hi, Homer. Like,
Oh yeah, I'll go back to your
She goes
room.
back to the room with Homer, and then she's like, "Wow, you stay up late." It's like, well, you're a child, and what are you doing up?
yeah. It's it's very like I don't know. That's it. There's like I gave it 3.5 on Letterboxd. I enjoyed my time.
Yeah, I think
There's
I
an
gave it three
You
or
gave
something
it
like that.
3.
It's not like I said, it's a fine movie. It's not a
Mhm.
perfect movie, and
Oh,
nobody
is this
expects
what
it
we're
to
doing
be.
now? We're doing ratings in Letterbox. We're not doing fun ratings anymore.
We never do ratings
Mm.
on Fear.
We don't actually rate on Fear.
I talk
We
about what
might
my
talk
letter.
about our letterbox, but we don't really rate on the show.
No, it's usually like, yeah, I'd recommend it. You'd see it. There's been like what, like 100
What
episodes
has
of this
happened to
show?
this show, right?
We never
What
rated
has
on this show.
happened to this
We
show?
never rated on this show.
I remember when Joe started the show, he's like, "Hey, I give this 5 Freddy claws."
Did I ever do that? I don't think I did that. I didn't do that. It's just a
Just
conversation.
like and subscribe, guys.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I tried. There was a year and a half period. I tried.
This guy was putting in work. He was calling guests. Now he's just like, Brian's fine. That's good enough.
There was a there
If
was a
I
If a
I
guest
help.
calls us like Yusef did,
there was a
I
time where I had like a 2 week period where like 5 guests lined up, and I was like, this is exhausting.
I even helped with guests during that time.
You
yeah.
were like producing. You're like this. I like this person. They come on, and they're all. There's a there's a few off cat. Not the ones anyone we set up there. There's a few that you if watched the episode was like, what the fuck are you doing here? Um, but that has nothing to do with any
I
guest
love
that
when you
we
have a
set up.
podcast guest who on your movie podcast, and then you're like, "Have you ever seen a movie before?"
Honestly, I'll say it. It's the one of a friend's. It's a friend one. It wasn't anyone who had anything. He shows up, and he was like talking as if like we had to ask him, "Have you watched the show? Did you watch any of the show?" And he was like, "No, I watched a little bit of Flyover though." And immediately, and then he tried to ramble out all of his points immediately, and basically Brian and I were on. We had to go pump. No, like go through. Like, what did you think of it? Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're a guest here. I understand if Lon didn't listen to the show, who has a job in this industry, but not just like, oh, I'm friends with you. Fuck those people. You clip it, send it to everyone. No,
Oh man, none of Joe's friends are gonna come on the podcast now. All
there
those
was,
people we met at the wedding.
that was,
No, that was
no, that
somebody
wasn't
else's
our
friends.
friend. That wasn't our
No, I
friend.
know, I know.
That was, but there was one person. That's all. Everyone else has been a lovely guest.
And then that we did the one with the guy who just had the terrible sound. That wasn't his. He wasn't a
No,
bad
but he was a
guess.
good
He just had
guess. He
terrible
just bad
sound.
sound.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, we're recording still. What do you guys? Anything else you guys
Who
really want
cares,
to?
man?
You got now.
No, no. I mean, this is like I said. I like Near Dark. I think I was able to be a little more objective about it on this second watch. I think I was very enamored with the cast and the scenes that make up the bulk of the best part of the movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think overall, it's still a very fine, serviceable movie. And if somebody came to me and was like, "Near Dark's my favorite vampire movie," I would be like, "That's totally justified. I get it. That rips. It's a fun one."
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 spurs out of 5.
3 spur murders.
3 spurs.
Three spur murders out of 5.
I know, yeah,
Wow.
it's
Spur murders.
pretty
We call them
much
spurters.
yeah, spurters. Yeah, I agree with Brian. It's just like it's just fun. It's a good movie. Like I've matured enough in my life where like pretty much all my reviews was like, oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
some has to be a real piece of shit to piss me off to the point where I I get real,
It's either like
or they fuck up like a franchise I really like or something.
yeah, it's either oh yeah, that was fun. That was
I think-
fucking amazing, kind of like Doctor Sleep or Nosferatu, or yeah, that sucked.
I think
Those are my 3 ratings right now.
I think this is one where like if you guys or anyone were like overhyped this one was like, yo, we saw Sinners, but it's not Near Dark, right? If someone
Oh,
came with
yeah.
that energy, which I'm sure someone has done, then I think my perception of what I watch would be a lot more
Tainted.
critical.
Yeah, you'd be more cynical about it,
To
sure.
be like, yeah, it was like fine, but I prefer 9 other movies. But now I'm like, no, this is fun. Like if this is a movie where and it needs it, if this had like any real Blu-ray or 4K release, like an Arrow or
Oh, I'd buy it.
a Shout Factory, right?
I'd buy
Or
that.
Scream Factory, I'd buy that immediately.
Yep,
I think a
I'd
lot
buy
of
that.
people, because that's another thing. We had to watch this on YouTube in like a 7. Clearly, it was the DVD rip, the 720 rip. I
Yeah,
want to see this because it's such a dark movie. I
yeah.
want to see this shit pop more, like and
Oh,
actually
hell
like
yeah.
see some of the scenes comparatively to just like the
Look, you ever seen the Blu-ray of The Thing? It's fucking incredible.
Oh yeah, I have
It looks
I have the
so good.
I have the Scream Factory one.
Yeah, it looks so good. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
And this could look like that. You could have this movie could look that good.
This deserve. I am sure there are some some physical media distribution nerds of those boutique centers trying to be like, no,
Oh
we'll
yeah,
take
this has got to be like the golden goose because
we'll,
like there's a market for it.
yeah, we'll take your cut. Even in like a UK, like Second Sight does a lot of this shit. They're the ones who did
Yeah.
like the Dawn of the Dead that looks beautiful now.
Yeah, yeah. I have that one, and you can't even watch. I can watch all the versions of the movie, but not the special features.
Me too. Me too.
I was like, fuck it. There's special features on YouTube. Whatever. I'll find them.
I get about like once a year where I'm like, do I buy a region-free player? And then I look at the prices of the region-free players and I go, nah, I'm good because then I'm gonna start buying region-free easier. Anyway, we full of it.
This is Flyover State of Fear. We talk physical media on this
We
show.
do talk a lot of physical media, but yeah, this is something that I'm a little contemplating. Essentially, maybe there is a bootleg market that
Oh,
does
I'm sure.
that because those bootleg markets also sometimes do an upscale to 1080 and find those there. Like I'm gonna make a educated guess that the one that was put on Shudder or HBO Max, like I said, I believe they're out one time. They probably are 1080p versions because there is a Blu-ray existing.
That makes sense.
But I'm just glad we're able to even access this
Yeah, I was
on
glad it was on.
YouTube.
Thank God it was on YouTube. And honestly, go watch it
Yeah.
on YouTube. Fuck it.
Mhm.
Like they're not
All
putting
you
it on
have to
anywhere
fuck
else.
All you have to do is type
Watch
in
it on
Near Dark
YouTube.
and it'll come up.
Yeah, I mean you're not here, but I wanted to make that joke in the beginning. Actually, I forgot about it. If you're clicking on this podcast, it's not the movie. You found the wrong video.
But the movie, unlike other episodes
movie
where people
is
get
here.
mad, you can find the movie. Keep looking.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
keep
just gonna
looking.
I'm just gonna put it in the description, to be honest
There
with
you
you.
go.
Maybe we'll finally get a comment. It's like, watch the podcast End the movie. Thanks for the link. Not
Yeah, thanks for the
not
link. Boom,
where the
baby.
movie.
Put the link. Put the link to the
Oh, I
actual
know. Even
movie.
our hater fell off. He doesn't even comment anymore. It's like, damn,
Yeah,
really
that was
busted.
TJ. That was
I mean,
TJ.
DJ's alt account.
Yeah.
that guy was like there was like a what, like a 3-day span where it was just like, you don't even get any views. You're a pussy.
Yeah, that was
And you're
TJ.
like, I don't think it was TJ. And you know why I fell off? He probably got his account suspended because that shit got reported because it was exhausting.
Yeah, fair enough.
All
Anyway,
right.
not really glad we talked about this one.
Where can the people find you?
They know where they can find us. You know
Find me and follow me at I'm Blue Sky.
So X and Blue Sky and Twitter and blah blah blah. All right. Thanks for joining us, Yusuf. Can't wait to have you back.
Hell
Brian, I'll
yeah, we'll
see you
come back. We'll
soon.
talk Martin.
Or whatever you want to talk. All
No,
right.
it's gonna be Martin.
It's gonna be barring only vampires movies from
That's
now
it.
on.
Vampire only now.
Little vampire. Bam bam bam
Oh shit, he name dropped
bam.
our next episode, y'all.
Stay frightful, everyone. Bye.